The truth is not for everybody. You know, Terence Bud Crawford, he does not like the truth. And here's the thing, it's always about giving credit where credit is due. So let me send this message to Terence Bud Crawford right now. If you suck on another man's name, this is not for you. If you moan when you wipe, this is not for you. If you have a man's nuts on your breath, this is not for you. Now, at the end of the day, Terence Crawford came out recently in an interview and he was asked about his pound for pound status. And this is what he said: I've never had any doubt, any questions about why I'm performing the way I'm performing. I don't have trouble saying it's in the meat. Canelo Alvarez, what meat are you eating? But Canelo's great. Now, here's the funny thing. He's trying to imply the only reason Canelo looks the way he looks is simply because Canelo Alvarez is cheating, which makes no sense because Canelo Alvarez is the most drug tested fighter in boxing today. There's not one fighter more thoroughly drug tested than Canelo Alvarez today. So let me break it down. Terence, who have I fought Crawford? Terence, B-side Bud Crawford. Let's break it down. See, I'm a fan of greatness. That's what I'm a fan of. I don't fanboy for fighters. I fanboy for greatness. When I see someone achieving greatness, regardless of their skin color, where they come from, what they look like, how they talk, I'm a fan of greatness. If you're pursuing great things, I'm a fan of that. So when someone says, oh, Terence Crawford he's pursuing greatness. Last year he could have fought Sean Porter. Why didn't he fight Sean Porter last year? Because he rejected the fight. He rejected the fight to fight a washed up Kell Brook. You fighting a washed up Kell Brook that looks like the Walking Dead zombie? A dude that's garbage truck juice. This dude said his best win in the welterweight division was Jeff Horn. How are you pound for pound number one and you're not even the number one fighter in your division? What the hell are you talking about? But you're chasing greatness? This is the same guy who just came out and stated, I was chasing Spence, but he really didn't want to fight. Wait a minute. Spence didn't want to fight, but Terence Crawford is the one who said, and I quote, if the fight ain't 60-40 in my favor, it won't happen. How in the hell is the fight going to be 60-40 in your favor and you can't sell a damn wing dinner? Terence Crawford's a great fighter. He's a great athlete, and he is a pound for pound fighter. But right now, if we're honest and unbiased, we got to put the foot on his neck. You're not even pound for pound top five. You're not top five. Canelo's above you. Usyk's above you. Anui's above you. And Josh Taylor is above you. Josh Taylor has done way more. See, Josh Taylor, he went undisputed, but he fought the better fighters. He fought top fighters. Who did Terence Crawford fight to become undisputed? Ndongo? And them sound like some beat up tennis shoes. This man beat Ndongo, Postal, DeLorme. I mean, these guys are garbage truck juice. These guys are ass juice. Come on now. Come on now. That don't make no sense. And I got a lot of love for Terence Crawford, but he's talking reckless. This the same guy that's rejecting Virgil Ortiz fights. He said Virgil Ortiz needs to prove himself. How does Virgil Ortiz need to prove himself when he's number one in the WBO? He's number one in the WBO. He's number one in the WBO, but he needs to prove himself. The truth ain't for everybody. Everybody don't like the truth. Everybody don't like the truth. This is not how I feel. It's a fact that Virgil Ortiz is number one in the WBO, been begging for the fight. How are you the boogeyman and this man is chasing you? He's chasing you. What are you talking about? You wouldn't even be fighting Terence Crawford. You wouldn't even be fighting Sean Porter if the WBO didn't mandate it. Come on now, let's stop. Let's stop. Is Terence Crawford even in VADA? Is he? Because I've never seen him do a 10-week camp. I've seen Canelo do 10 weeks. Canelo's been VADA all year, in and out of VADA. Terence Crawford, what has he been doing? What has he been doing? Let's be honest about it. This guy's the dude who's fighting the lowest level of opposition, Kell Brook was ass juice. Jeff Horn was ass juice. And you think beating Sean Porter's going to make you the #1 fighter in the world? In the world? Even Bob Arum said you can't sell a damn wing dinner, but you're the A-side to Errol Spence? Come on now. You got to keep it a buck, Terence. You got to keep it a buck. Come on now. Come on. It don't make any sense. Come on now. It does not make any sense. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. Terence Crawford is not being honest and objective about it. I mean, Josh Taylor has a better resume than, if we're honest. Terence Crawford, you're top 10. You're not top 5 right now. Josh Taylor, Inouye, Usyk, and Canelo all above you easily. All above you easily. This man never fought an elite fighter. He's never fought an elite fighter. He's just now getting to Sean Porter. Come on now. Come on now. Hold on, my brother, the Reaper Gang, salute to Two Hands. He said, Nuke, don't like when they mess with his guy. First of all, Two Hands, Canelo's not my guy. I support greatness. I don't support fighters. I support greatness. If you don't know, I'm going to let you know. I picked Triple G to beat Canelo. I said Canelo robbed Triple G of the first fight. I don't play favorites. I play greatness. That's what I play. But we don't always agree. I agree. Terence may be your guy, but he's not mine. I don't pick favorites. I go by greatness. And Terence Crawford pricing himself out of an Errol Spence fight don't make sense. That's not greatness. Terence Crawford choosing to fight a Wash Kell Brook than a Sean Porter last year, that's not greatness. He could have been and had this fight. So, you know, the fact that Terence Crawford turning down Virgil Ortiz multiple times, who's #1 in the WBO, but saying he needs to prove himself, how is that great? See, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any. We got to be real about who Terence Crawford is. Terence Crawford is being ass juice. I don't like when people say stupid things. So when we get on it, I get on Deontay Wilder, nobody says anything. I get on all these guys, no one says anything. I mentioned someone Canelo, it's a problem. I'm just being honest and unbiased about it. Terence Crawford's great fighter, good talent. He's not top 5 pound for pound. He's not top 5 pound for pound. Come on now. We know that. He know that. He said he about to knock Sean out. Don't worry, my dude. I mean, he might. He got the skills. Terence got the skills, the power. He could knock out Sean. But if he beats Sean, it's after Sean has already been through all of this. Sean's not even a world champion right now. We're talking about Canelo Alvarez facing champion after champion after champion. Undefeated fighters in their prime. I mean, we can't even make a comparison. This fight does not put Terence Crawford above Canelo Alvarez. Does not put him above Josh Taylor. Does not put him above Oslander Usyk. It simply don't. These are just facts. It's not my feelings. How has he accomplished more than Oslander Usyk? So how in the hell is he pound for pound number one? Forget Canelo. How is Terence Crawford credentials better than Oslander Usyk? Just let's start from that. Let's start from that. It's not. It's not. There's no way. There's no way. This the same Terence Crawford say, I don't get the credit I deserve. Deserve for beating Jeff Horn? Deserve for beating Jeff Horn? You need credit for beating Jeff? I mean, come on, bro. Come on. I mean, this is a guy. Come on now. I mean, this is a guy, he said, you know, I know why I'm performing the way I'm performing. I know why Terence Crawford is performing the way he's performing. I know why, and this is why. If you don't know why Terence Crawford is performing the way he's performing, I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why he's performing the way he's performing. If you don't know, now you know. This is why. This is why. He's performing the way he's performing because he's not fighting elite fighters. When you fight a guy like Julius Ndongo, of course you're going to look like a killer. Of course you're going to look like a killer. Of course, everybody's a killer fighting my grandma. Everybody's a killer fighting my grandma. But when you step up in competition, the wins don't look as good. Doesn't look better. Come on, let's be honest about it. Susu says Terence Crawford is the Lil Nas X of boxing. Oh, my God. I wouldn't go that far. But, look, let's just be real. Terence Crawford's a good fighter, confident fighter. We got Sugar Short here, says, because Terence Crawford don't take Clenbuterol. Neither does Canelo. Did you forget he was vindicated off of that? Or do you need a reminder? And while you're getting a reminder, you need a shave and an edge up too. But let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. My brother Reaper Gang says Canelo got grandparents on his records too, though. He do. He does. But he also has elite undefeated world champions too. Can Terence Crawford say that? Can Terence Crawford say that? If you need me to drop the link for your two hands, I can do that right now. Just let me know. Because if you want to be honest about it, Canelo, yeah, he doesn't have a perfect resume. No fighter does. But it's better than Crawford's. It's better than Crawford's. I mean, if we're being real, it's better than Crawford's. I mean, anybody want to debate that, you can get it. It's better than Crawford's. Everybody know that. Everybody know that. Everybody know that. I mean, come on now. Anybody else? Let's go. Let's go. I mean, look, we got to be honest and unbiased about everything. We don't get to just pick and choose. We got to tell the truth about what's going on. We got to tell the truth. We got to tell the truth. We got to tell the truth. A lot of these guys don't want to be honest about what's going on. A lot of these guys want to protect Terence Crawford's feeling. I don't protect guys' feelings. I just tell you what it is. I'm going to just tell you what it is. And, you know, at the end of the day, Terence Crawford, he's a great fighter. But let's be real about it. Let's be real about it. Let's be real about it. Come on now, let's be real about it. This guy is not fighting the best fight after fight after fight. He's not. He's not. He's a talented fighter. But let's not act like he didn't go through everything he needed to go through in Canelo Alvarez, stepping up his game time and time again, doing everything he was supposed to do. Come on down. Come on down. But you know what I mean, you remember when Terence Crawford, obviously he's jealous of Canelo's status. What did he say? Canelo Alvarez avoids black fighters. You remember slick fighters, black fighters, things like that. And that doesn't make any sense. He fought more slick and black fighters than Terence Crawford. So couldn't you say that he avoids them too? What the hell are you talking about? If you're going to bring up something, you got to bring up facts. That's what you got to do. You got to bring up facts. You got to bring up facts. That's all you have to do. Without any further ado, my brother, two hands up. The Reaper Gang, salute my brother. Salute to Money Brown TV. Salute my brother too. What's up with you, my brother?
Hola, paisan. What's goody?
What's goody?
What's good?
I'm kicking it, man. I'm kicking it. I mean, like, honestly, I'm not even like really debating with you here. I was kind of, you know what I'm saying, just laughing at you, know what I'm saying, basically what you were saying. And my debate per se isn't necessarily I would say, you know, comparing records and accomplishments, because I mean, if we all look at Canelo's record, we know Canelo has more accomplishments and more divisions and more belts, but you know, Bud has carried his own, you know what I mean, and his divisions as well. But my thing is this, you know, when we speak about Canelo and Canelo's greatness, you know, pound for pound is reserved for the smaller fighters, and you know, for the talented fighters. Technically, pound for pound was always reserved for the smaller fighters under heavyweight, who are technically proficient and sound and talented in their division if you would compare them to those in the heavyweight division. But everybody has their own criteria, but I'm not trying to get away from that. My only thing is this: when it comes to Canelo, when we speak on Canelo and Canelo's greatness, all I would have to say is, when you speak on Canelo and the great things that he's done, could you acknowledge that Canelo came up short in all of his biggest fights?
I don't think that's true at all.
I don't think that's true at all.
Well, I would have to say that it is true, because if you think about it, Canelo's biggest fights were Floyd Mayweather. He lost that fight.
Correct.
Canelo's other biggest fight was against Triple G. And in both of those fights, you know, of course, you know, when we look at things, we have to look at it on paper as well. And the judges decided. So I can't really argue with what the judges say. But if we're going by eye test, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody a majority of people would be under the same belief that Canelo lost that first fight, you know, and he was given a draw in that match. And the second fight, you know, people feel as though Canelo won. That's cool. So when I speak on Canelo's biggest fights, I speak on it in that area because, those were the biggest fights. Those were the big money pay-per-views, and those were the biggest opponents and the biggest oppositions of that time. Now, as far as the other accomplishments, you know, I look at Canelo as a very talented fighter. I've never taken away from Canelo as a talented guy because he is hyper talented. He is a top specimen no matter what division you look at in boxing. But when it comes to me and holes in certain areas of Canelo's game, when I go back to cards and I go back to certain matches, I'm just under the belief. And that's just technically my opinion. So, you can look at it however you want. But I just personally feel like when it came to the Austin Trout fight, that fight was sus for me. I didn't feel like he won that fight. When it came to the Lara fight, I didn't feel like he won that fight either. Now, but those are my opinions. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to Canelo for me, of course I like Canelo. Of course I think he's one of the best talents walking around right now. I feel like, it would take a very dominant, it would take another ferocious top guy to knock him off of his pedestal. But at the end of the day, we judge fighters, we judge them off of what they've done. And if it came down to the big show, Canelo just didn't show up in the big show. So it's just like, I can't let Canelo fly when it comes to those things. And Terence has always showed up. And, people can speak on Terence's opponents at that time. But when Terence fought Victor Postal was a straight dog. Nobody wanted smoke with Victor Postal. He destroyed him, straight dismantled him. And then we know Victor Postal has taken damage in several other fights outside of that. But when it came to certain champions like Josh Taylor, like Jose Ramirez, he gave them hell when Terence Crawford dogged them. So if we're going to look at things in a certain aspect, I would have to, there is a triangle theory there. And I know we're all big on triangle theories, and I'm about to get off of it right here. But at the end of the day, these are current matches. If you look at it in the aspect of who Jose Ramirez was at that time when he fought Victor Postal, he was a champion. He had problems with him, almost to the point to where he lost that fight. When Josh Taylor fought him, he had problems with him as well. Terence didn't suffer from those same problems. So if I feel like, Josh Taylor's a great opponent and Jose Ramirez is a great opponent, Terence Crawford went out there and just completely just outshined them in all aspects of that area. Yuriorkis Gamboa, at that time, he was the most dominant, guy, and he performed well in that area as well. But once again, I take nothing away from who Canelo is, but salute.
I just want to get to one thing from Money Brown first. And he said, how did Canelo come up short in his biggest fight? And he got one loss.
And clearly this dude needs to take the wax up out of his ears, and grease the wheels on his bike. Because apparently I just said that, if we're basing things off of, what the judges decide and what people, because on paper it is what it is, I can't speak on that. But if it comes down to a visual interpretation, we all can feel certain ways about things. And this is, the world of boxing. It is one of the most corrupt sport on the planet. And several people have gotten certain cards and several people have done certain things that we necessarily, aren't going to herald them on their accomplishments when we know they were kind of, they were what they were. But to each their own. Okay. I'm not going to argue that. But as I stated before, when I started the conversation, that's my opinion. But, that's all I was saying.
No, I respect that. And I'm going to tell you what, we're going to bring back that eviction notice. Hey, hold it, turn your phone down real quick. Two hands, or go on mute real quick. Let me just say this. There's a little echo. Look, we're going to bring back that eviction notice, but to speak to what, my brother Two Hands say, it's always respectful. This is what brothers do. We debate things, but I have to respectfully disagree. And we have to keep that same energy with Terence Crawford that we do with everybody else. Now, my brother Two Hands just said that, Postal, gave Josh Taylor hell and all of this, but, Terence Crawford beat these guys better. Virgil Ortiz beat Kavalauskas better than Terence Crawford did, and did it in a quicker fashion. We don't do triangle theories. We do levels, and we're talking about straight levels here in boxing. And you said Canelo Alvarez came up short in his biggest moments in boxing. Name one fighter Terence Crawford has ever fought in his whole life on the level of Floyd Mayweather or Triple G. Not one. Not even close. You can't. Postal ain't nowhere near that planet. Nowhere near that. Neither is Ndongo. None of them. They're all ass juice when you compare those levels. And then you talk about biggest moments. I believe Canelo Alvarez just beat the #1 fighter who won the World Boxing Super Series, who's a world champion, undefeated in his prime, had a height and reach advantage at 168. That was a major moment in his career, and he outclassed him at another level. But you say he came up short in his biggest moments, that don't make sense. Austin Trout, everybody knows Canelo won that fight. That's not even debatable. Danny Jacobs outclassed him, but he gave Triple G hell. So are we making a triangle theory there? I mean, we got to be honest and unbiased. Going up to 175, beating a reigning world champion in Kovalev. I mean, let's be honest with it. But not only that, I see somebody in the chat, and I believe their name is Southpaw 773 TV. So what I'm going to do, let me see if I can drop this link.
Ho. Let me respond to that.
This is who I think it is. Oh, hold on 1 second, too. I really want to get this dude on and see what he got to say. I mean, he's been just yapping up my comments, yapping up. Every other day I get a comment or somebody want me to talk about this guy. And I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And this dude feel like he got the nuts to come to my channel. So he's going to have to get up here and prove it. See, me and Two Hands, we can debate respectfully. We can be respect, but I got to hear what this. Hey, I dropped the link. Click it. The link has been dropped. Click. I'm waiting.
But to respond to one of the things you were saying while we're waiting on him, Nuke, we say we're not going off triangle theories, and this is true. And I even alluded to that when I said, of course, triangle theories don't mean anything in the world of boxing to us. And when it just comes to, the facts of life and what it is in boxing. But at the end of the day, if we're not going to operate off a triangle theory, didn't Manny Pacquiao lose to Jeff Horn? And he's considered one of the greatest fighters in the world. And Terence Crawford went in there and dismantled him. Or is that a triangle theory, or is that just not fact?
Well, I mean, to answer the question is, did Manny Pacquiao, wasn't that a controversial fight? Didn't a lot of people feel like Manny won that fight? Because you can't.
How many controversial fights have Canelo been in the entirety of his career?
Hold on 1 second. So because you mentioned Canelo was in controversial fights, so why can't we keep the same energy for Manny Pacquiao? So you want to consider that an asterisk on Canelo's resume?
Oh, no, I'm not considering an asterisk, but if you can blow past it, Nuke, why can't I?
Energy to both ways.
No, what I'm saying is, if you can speak to that aspect, my brother, and you can allude to that, then why can't I? And you might feel like it's evident, and even Ray Charles can see that he beat Austin Trout, but no, those aren't the facts. And if you want to speak on him beating the biggest guy at 168 pounds, are we talking about Callum Smith on a 5-week notice? And we're talking about this guy is more drug tested than anybody in the world. What type of drug test is Canelo on a 5-week notice?
Hold on 1 second, too. How's it a 5-week notice when Callum Smith said he's been training for 2 months prior to that? 2 months prior.
I don't care. Hold on.
Another 2 months before that, he was already training for the fight. It's documented.
Listen to me. It doesn't matter what you say. Okay, so hold on. See, you cutting me off.
Because I think this is in the whole conversation. Let me ask you, who's pound for pound number one?
Who's pound for pound number one? Honestly, in my eyes, I would have to feel like it's Alexander Usyk.
Okay, I can agree with that. Me personally, I said after Usyk win, I think Canelo needs to go undisputed at the top based on accomplishment.
But I mean, if you look at, look at the end, yeah, we both agree on that. But what does that have to do with anything that I just said? All I'm simply saying is,
I got this guy on the line. Hold on, my brother. Oh snap! It's Money Brown TV.
IBF, what's going down, champ?
What's going down, Money?
Chilling like a villain, man.
You and Two had a disagreement on here as well.
Yeah. Because when I asked him, I don't want him to take it the wrong way, but when he say Canelo didn't show up, he felt like he what you say, that you feel like he failed all his big fights. And when I
said when it came to Canelo and his biggest fights, if you look at his career, he didn't show up. He lost to Floyd Mayweather in the first fight, regardless of whether he got to draw the Triple G. Even Ray Charles conceded he won that fight. I mean, some people might not agree with that, but it is what it is. In the second fight, there was considered that Canelo won that fight. Okay, but there was never a third match, so there's nothing to go off of there. All I'm saying is when we look at Canelo, the trajectory of his career, what are we going to give him credit for? Over the hill Sugar Shane Mosley's? Are we going to give him the credit for Beefy Smith's? Are we going to give him credit for Alfredo Angulo? Are we going to give him credit for Kermit Citron? What are we going to give him credit for? Sugar Shane?
When we talk about Canelo, we don't talk about any of those fights. We talk about undefeated world champions.
Hold, but let me finish though. See, every time I get ready to get started, I'm getting stopped. But at the end of the day, you're speaking on Callum Smith like he's this great fighter at 168 and he just toppled him. And you're saying that he's training for a couple of months. Hold on, Nuke. Bro, why do you keep cutting me off? Nuke, I gave you the respect. Look, Nuke. I give you the respect and let you talk. I never cut you off, my G, but you yelling over top of me right now. You're yelling over top of me right now, but I've given you all the respect that you asked for. Man, bro, I'm not, man, listen, man. You see, this is how you can't, this ain't a debate. This isn't a debate. Because if I'm talking and you cutting me off trying to get questions in and I can't even get my thoughts out, how is that a debate? How is that a debate? How is that a debate? And you was the one speaking on respectfully and doing this like bros and shit. Come on, my G. What? You can talk about 2 months of training all you want and this and that, but how long was that fight in limbo and how long was people playing double dutch with the match? So it comes up that the fight is going to happen in 5 weeks notice. So we're going to dismiss the fact that it happened in 5 week notice. And when I say to you, what type of drug testing can you have in 5 weeks? And you simply, it did happen in 5 weeks. And you simply can go and you simply can sit up there and say, well, Callum Smith was training for 2 months. That's cap, bro. That's cap.
Canelo didn't hold up the fight. There was Callum Smith with outrageous financial demands, wanted $10 million for the fight. If you don't know, the facts are there.
Right.
I know the facts. But you want to sit up there and say it's for outrageous demand. But when was the fight made? When were contracts signed? How long was the drug testing? Look, I'm good with this shit. I'm good with this shit, bro. I'm good with this shit because I'm not gonna get jumped on by the double dutch crew. Like we either going to talk or we not going to talk.
Did Callum Smith sign a contract, bro?
But isn't
listen, man, I'm not even gonna do this with you, little dude.
Anyway, I'm gonna let Money get his.
What you mean not gonna do this, bro?
Money, you want to speak on it?
Yeah, he said, oh, he had this amount of time to train, this amount of time. Like Luke said, they are in the gym training, bro. If Callum Smith is saying,
does it dismiss the fact of what I just said about what type of drug testing can you have on a 5 week notice? I don't care how much you training. I don't care how much you're training. At the end of the day, listen, man. At the end of the day, Canelo is the A-side fighter. He's gonna do things and he's gonna get it how you want to get it. Callum Smith don't have no choice in the matter. What are you saying? What are you saying? Callum Smith gonna have to take it how we get it, like any girl laying down.
Is the one holding
all around to this, that, and the third. Now, at the end of the day,
Callum Smith or Canelo?
Nah, you see, Nuke, they run off the panel. They want to say you stopping them, but then when you speak, they want to overtalk you. Now, Callum Smith is a world champion. Callum Smith is a grown man. Callum Smith been in this boxing game just as long as Canelo Alvarez. So they know the game, right? So they already know if they're training in the gym, you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. The shit Caleb Plant talking about, when Canelo came out and said, I'm back in the gym, what Caleb Plant say? I stay in the gym. So if you stay in the gym, motherfucker, then you should be ready all year round. So now when Callum Smith signed the contract, he know what he signed up for. So when y'all sit up here, y'all want to make all these assumptions and make all these fucking excuses, why Canelo beat Callum Smith, and then Callum Smith just smoked the motherfucker and put him in the hospital. Y'all just can't get credit what credit is due, bro. Callum Smith is not complaining. He's not crying about the weeks that he had to train. He felt like he was ready. He got in there. He lost to the better man. Now, Luke, what I wanted to ask him was, how can you say that Canelo came up short in all his fucking big wins when all the man got is one loss? They try to discredit Alfredo Angulo, right? But they want to give Canelo credit they want to give Laura credit. They want to say Laura beat Canelo. But they forget about Alfredo Angulo taking Laura ass to the trenches, taking him to the trenches. You understand? Where I give credit to what's the coach? What's Andre Ward coach? I get credit to him because he pushed
The Virgil
Alfredo,
Hunter.
Virgil Hunter, because he almost knocked Laura ass out. He took it to Laura, but then when Canelo come back off a loss, right, and Laura is on, and Fredo was on the all-time high, and Canelo come and walk his ass down, make him look like a nobody. Now he's a nobody. Every time Canelo do something spectacular, they try to take credit away from him, bro. You know what I mean? So now when we look at the situation with Canelo, Nuke, and what he's been doing, when that man fought Laura, he was 23. Laura was a fucking veteran, right? In his prime. When he fought Austin Trout was on top. They don't give him credit about that shit. Both of them dudes was the top at 154. When he fought Triple G, the top middleweight. When he fought Callum Smith, the number one super middleweight. They tried to shit on the Kovalev fight, but Kovalev, like you said, Nuke, was a world champion and the most accomplished world champion at 175. But y'all try to discredit all that shit, and y'all try to bring up old Shane Mosley and Avni Yildirim to try to discredit. We gonna speak facts, bro. Y'all are one getting y'all feelings jumping here and there. And Southpaw, you couldn't fuck with me on your best day, bro. I already just smoke you out. You done, and you and your feelings. And Nuke ain't gonna do nothing but bury you. So you can stay your ass in the chat and keep chatting. So it's just like when it comes to
hold on, money. Let me speak to this Southpaw cat. I dropped the link for this guy. Didn't show on. Dude got his tampon all the way up his ass. Won't get on here. He can't find his nuts. His nuts is on a milk carton missing somewhere. Find your nuts and click the link, coward. Don't sit up here and be a chat warrior. Click the link. Find your nuts and step up here. Don't talk trash about money, because he's body bagging anything you coming with.
Facts, bro. He always talking about how can we talk boxing if we never throw a punch. You never fought on a world championship level ever in your life. You understand me? I want to see some accolades from you. Just because you put on boxing gloves, going to the gym, learn how to throw a 1-2, don't mean you validated to speak like you're a motherfucking world champion, bro. That's what's wrong with you cats, man. Y'all think because y'all in the gym, throwing a few punches, getting a little sparring in, that y'all now are world-class fighters, and what y'all say is law. Man, Nuke can eat y'all ass up on any day, bro. But when it comes to Canelo, Nuke, bro, all I do is, like you say, bro, when I get on Canelo ass, they don't look at that. I said I didn't like the Avni Yildirim fight. I said I wanted to see him fight Jamal Charlo and wanted to see him fight the boy Demetrius Andrade. But they overlooked that. But when you get that man this credit and it just do, on one end, Nuke, to the blacks, I'm a sellout. To some Latinos, I'm a racist. Which one is it? You see what I'm saying? It's just called, man, giving facts and giving credit what credit is due. And they just hate the fact that Canelo is the number one pound for pound fighter right now. The man is the hottest fighter on the planet. The man about to be undisputed 4-division world champion. Like, man, just get credit what credit is due. Some of these motherfuckers, they be stuck in the past and don't know how to move forward. You know what I mean? They don't know how to move forward, bro. And that's why they be stuck where they at, bro. But the game, it come and it goes. Canelo go, he's hurt, and then Canelo go be gone. It's going to be somebody else's turn to get they just doing that credit. But just because it's a Mexican man now, it's a problem with a lot of these motherfuckers, man. And I'm not just with it, bro. I'm not just with it.
Southpaw said, I'm a cornball who never showed my face. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard, money. This dude said, I'm a cornball who never showed my face, but you don't got the nuts to come talk to me. You come on my channel talking all this trash, but you can't find your nuts when I step up. See, the problem is with you is you begging to see another man's face. Never in my life would I ever beg to see any man's face. Never.
Thanks.
Never. So you just want your cheeks clapped. If you looking for your cheeks clapped, you on the wrong channel, buddy. But I'm going to break down what Money's saying. He's absolutely right. And the debate originally started about Terence Crawford. We talking about Terence Crawford. He's not number one pound for pound. He's a great fighter. He has great talent and great skills. But I just don't see how anybody can put him at number one pound for pound. I don't even know why me and my brother Two Hands was even debating, because he didn't even have him at pound for pound number one. So what was we debating about? I mean, who you got number one pound for pound, Money?
Canelo Alvarez, hands down, like 630, man.
What?
And the reason why I got Canelo
where do you got Terence Crawford ranked on? I don't have him in the top 5 right now. I got Usyk above him. I got Anui above him. I mean, I don't think he's doing that kind of weight.
This is why I got him in the top 5.
And I can respect that.
Yeah, I respect his skill set. I respect the divisions. Sometimes, like you say, you can't help who's the champion where they at. But at the 147-pound division, right? And I just dropped the video because he tried to throw some shade at Errol Spence as if Errol Spence was ducking the fight. But the caliber of fight that you fought at 147, bro, you can't go to 147 and write off what you did at 140 and 135. No, we all know that. So the caliber of fighters you've been fighting at 147, I do give credit for Jeff Warren, because when you got there, he was the world champion. But after that, we all know fucking Kell Brook was on his way out. We all know, sorry, not Kell Brook, Amir Khan, because that's the first cat. Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez, fucking Kell Brook, and Mean Machine, right? They not cutting. They cool fighters for what you did to them, but they not the top cats at the 147-pound division. And people get pissed off when I say that. I'm not taking credit away from them. I'm an eye test guy. I do like the skills on him. I do think he beat everybody at 147 besides Earl Spence, and I still give him a shot against Earl Spence. But the thing is, he don't push to try to get those fights like he portraying. If you really wanted them fights, you would have been on Bob Aaron Mass forcing him to pay those dudes the money that they're worth to try to make the fights happen. Bob Aaron stalled your career at 147 and came out his own mouth and said that you're losing him money. So therefore, you're not fighting the competition to put you there, even though you have the skills and the potential to beat anybody at 147. But you got to call it for what it is, bro. And Inouye, I'm in love with Inouye. That's my guy. I fuck with Inouye heavy. I get Usyk his respect, right? I give him his respect. But he come from cruiserweight to heavyweight, did what he did to Anthony Joshua. You see the skill set on him. It's just that when you get to the heavyweight division, it's not that far that you can go to me. It's nowhere else you can go. So could Usyk beat other guys in other divisions if they was in the same division? You arguably can say yes, but you can arguably say no as well. So I got Terence Crawford, in the top 5, but I don't have him number 1 over Canelo Alvarez. And I respect
and the link
talk to Bo Mac and talk to his people, Terence Crawford family. So it's all love there. But I'll tell him he know I don't got him number 1. He know what it is.
Absolutely. My brother Money Brown TV. My brother Two Hands back on the line. Two Hands, speak to it.
At the end of the day, look, it goes down. Everybody has their own opinions, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. I don't want to motherfucking smell your farts. Y'all might not want to smell mine, but at the end of the day, we got to let gas go. So it just boils down like this. Y'all feel the way y'all feel. I feel like this. Canelo has came up short in all of his biggest fights, period. When you look at Callum Smith ain't no dog. If y'all look at Billy Joe Saunders isn't no dog. If you're looking at the type of caliber Canelo is, who is Billy Joe Saunders and who is Callum Smith to that dude? Are they world champions? Yes, we can give them credit for that. But if y'all want to go pull that whole 175 move and him going up to 175 and fighting the freaking peg leg Sergey Kovalev, who on his last leg, whose body is made out of jello, who damn near got knocked out by Anthony Yarden like the 8th or 9th round, hey, we can give him credit for that too as well. But at the end of the day, those aren't top oppositions when I look around the board. When y'all want to talk about top opposition when it comes to Canelo, cool. Y'all can talk about dudes with belts, but there are a lot of dudes with belts. It doesn't mean that they great. And at the end of the day, Canelo is a superior fighter. Those dudes aren't. So at the end of the day, now I don't want to see him going after no 37-year-old Kovalev, because if y'all want to sit up there and say that Kell Brook was on his last leg, then what was Kovalev on when he fought goddamn Canelo?
Kovalev was a champion.
So Kovalev was a champion. He wasn't damaged goods?
No.
He wasn't damaged goods.
Question. Can I hold on? We're having a conversation. You got everything. You. I just want to respond. Okay. He said, "What was Kovalev to Kell Brook?" You can't even compare the situation. You cannot compare this. One was a world champion, and one was washed. So you talking about a world champion, and you talking about a dude who moved down in weight after 3 years. Come on, make it make sense. You talking about one dude who's a world champion and another dude that had his face broke 2 times. Make it make sense. It's always facts and never feelings. But what we're going to do next...
See, this is the thing about modern era boxing talk.
Hold on, two.
I thought you was finished. That's the reason why I started talking.
I know, and I'm going to shoot it to somebody else. We have another guest on the panel, my brother Lalo's Boxing. Speak to him, Lalo.
What's poppin', man? What's poppin' with everybody, man? How y'all doing, man?
Coolin', my guy.
What's going down, Lalo?
For sure, man. Just another day, man. I hear y'all cooking, man, so I just had to hop on one time.
That's it, Lalo. What are your thoughts on all this, man? Who's pound for pound number 1? Where you got everybody ranked? I mean, Canelo, Crawford, who's ranked number 1?
I got to go with Canelo, man. I got to have Canelo. Crawford's up there as well. But for pound number 1, it got to be Canelo.
My thing is, when you discredit Billy Joe and you discredit Callum Smith, And if you say you got Bud number one, which I don't knock it,
when did you ever hear me say I got Bud number one? Take the wax out your ears, man.
All right, bro, quit getting so fucking hostility.
Man, this is my energy all day, 24/7. I'm not hostile.
When you take those two champions off, what other champions that are just so much more better than those two that you're talking about on the other cast list? If I'm just saying, just for Billy Joe and Calvin Smith, who won a world tournament with the best motherfuckers at 168.
You talking about the receded hairline of George Groves? Get the fuck out of here, man.
The world tournament at 168.
With that line, man.
You talking about the malnourished, receded freaking golf green and golf strip hairline that was George Groves, man? That man whole hairline looked like a golf course, man. Are you serious right now?
Y'all discrediting if that's the case.
How am I discrediting him? Was George Groves not over the hill?
Nobody is doing shit there.
Was George Groves not over the hill?
Nobody is doing shit in boxing.
Here we go. I never said that nobody was doing shit in boxing, but here's the thing. I just stated that just because you have a belt, it doesn't make you great. Because if that's the case, I mean, was Cornelius Brundage a great champion? Oh, okay. I'm just saying. It boils down to this. It boils down to levels. So if I'm talking about levels, if we go from Floyd and we go from who Triple G was, and let's not even dismiss the fact that that Canelo was fighting this man at 155 Ghost Division. I'm just saying though, we're not going to sit up here and just try to like, come on, bro. At the end of the day, we know who is what. We know who got dog in them. We know who raw. And all I'm saying is this: at the end of the day, Billy Joe Saunders had to take whatever drugs up under the sun he had when he was ready to fight Demetrius Andre, and he couldn't even take that fight. All I'm saying is this conversation was never about a pound for pound number one with me, so I don't even know how that got started, because it was never about pound for pound. All I was simply alluding to, because Nuke was talking about the opponents and the challenges that Bud Crawford fought. So I was simply stating that when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, he's got a bunch of old heads and he's got a bunch of cess fighters on his record too. All I'm saying is Canelo is the king of getting weird ass 117, 111 cards. All I'm saying is that when we look at it, we can't dismiss these things as well. So when it comes to me, I don't feel it. When we got a guy like Alexander Usyk, who's traveled in everybody else's territory and won all of his belts on foreign soil and comes off the back of going up to heavyweight and beating Anthony Joshua, those things I take into account. I can't dismiss the fact that this man got caught cheating or whatever. The WBC moves the freaking goalpost for Clem Buterol levels and all types of shit. At the end of the day,
hold on. It's my turn to interject. Hold on. I get you were really long-winded on that one. We're gonna pass it around a little bit.
Man, everybody been long-winded on this joint. Nook, stop it, man. You a funny dude today.
Hold on, you were wrong for that George Grove hairline. But
you was wrong for a lot of shit you said today, but I let you do you, let me do me. That's what we do.
I'm looking at it like this, Terence. When I look at Canelo Alvarez, bro, yes, you could say, oh, well, he got some over-the-hill fighters. But when you look at his resume and you look at Bud's resume, it don't compare, bro. It don't compare.
What? I never said that, bro.
All right. I heard you, though. You said you came on here because Luke said, oh, Crawford got some over the hills. You said you just want to say Canelo got some over the hills as well. But what Canelo has been doing, but you want to say that, oh, Billy Joe ain't this, and Callum Smith ain't this, you can say that. Where they're ranked at, right? Callum Smith was the number one super middleweight. Billy Joe is a 2-division world champion, having a world title, no matter how people want to slice and dice it. Oh, he haven't fought nobody. He got the title like this. He got it like that. You still look at those dudes and say they are caliber fighters, right? Motherfuckers looking at Caleb Plant, talking about Caleb Plant is this, not you. Oh, Caleb Plant, he got this skill set. He got this skill set. He got one good win on his belt fighting Ustatati. I give him the credit for being a champion to become a champion. But when I look at him, all them motherfuckers is in the same boat. When you look at Canelo Alvarez, he still setting himself apart because he went out there whooping their ass, taking the titles, right? And people keep saying there's two names that they want to see him fight. And when you see those two names, he's fighting people that you can arguably say that's better than them, right? With the power and the skill set.
Who are those two names? Who are those two names, sir?
Charlo and Andrade. People, Charlo or Andrade. They want to see him fight.
Those
Charlo.
aren't the names that I've said.
I just said people. I ain't say two hands. Charlo or Andrade. And you can't. Who do you want to see Canelo fight?
He can fight Andrade. That would be a good fight that I want to see. But I mean, if you can go up to 175 and fight an over-the-hill Kovalev, you need to be seeing Dmitry Bivol.
He was still to fight Bivol. They were gonna fight at 172. People got pissed off at that.
That was just stated. That was just stated recently in articles. You know what I'm saying? And I was really. See, and that's the thing. Hold on. I just want to segue off what he's saying. That's the thing. That's the type of fight that I'm looking for out of the caliber fighter that Canelo is. I can't sit up there and give him the type of praise that y'all boys is giving him when he isn't doing things like that. The dudes he's fighting compared to the dudes where his skill set sit and where everybody wants to place him, you can't put him there. You can go down the resume and talk about this person with a belt, that person with a belt. Man, all them dudes is flat tires with no freaking jack, man, and no spare. Come on, man.
Bro, so what do you rank this fight play fight?
Hold on. I got a question. I got a question for Two Hands. Now, this whole live stream was about Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, pound for pound, #1 status, things like this. And who do you have ranked ahead? And now you have Usyk at 1. Who's at 2?
For me right now, I got it. Usyk at #1. You could arguably, if you want to base it off of, belts and accomplishments. Okay, well, of course.
Explain no reason. Just who do you got it to?
It would have to be Usyk. It would have to be Canelo based off accomplishments and based off of skill set as well, because he does have a skill set that is remarkable, that is levels above other individuals. I would have to put Naoya Inoue in there, but Bud Crawford, for real, based off of what I was saying, based off of where he's come up short, and there are things about Canelo's record that are sus, and there are things you can't get away from. I mean, there's no reason why Bud Crawford shouldn't even be mentioned in that #2 realm, or if anybody want to sit him there as well. I mean, he's an undisputed fighter. He went up to 140. He did what he did. So if everybody want to give Callum Smith and all of these dudes credit for the Canelo win, and I mean, give Bud credit for his wins as well, because that shit sound flip-flop to me.
Okay. Now I know it might sound flip-flop to you, but here's the problem. The point that you're missing. You say Canelo has this and that on his resume. That's what happens when you fight fighters that are of a certain caliber. Bud Crawford, has he ever fought anybody on Floyd Mayweather or Triple G's level? I just want you to answer that with a yes or no question.
I can't. You know that's not a yes or no question. That's not a yes or no question, and I'm not going to let you follow me into that. You might do that with them other dudes, Nuke, but you already know I'm too smart for that bullshit.
I just want to know.
I'm too smart for that bullshit. I ain't a yes or no. That ain't a yes or no question for me, dog. Stop.
Do you know damn well that's a yes or no question?
Man, Nuke, cut the bullshit, man. Nuke, at the end of the day, how many of these dudes?
He's never fought anybody on Floyd level, period. He's never fought.
How many people are? Wow. Nuke, you are so full of shit right now. I swear to God, you might need to take some goddamn milk of magnesia. Listen to me. Listen.
So body bag me. Who is Crawford fought on those levels right now?
Look, dog, I'm not, like I said, I'm not falling into your little bullshit Halloween trick bag, but all y'all kids out there trick-or-treating, man, y'all stay safe and watch what these motherfuckers put in your bag, though. Listen, man, how many individuals on Floyd level are listen to me, man. How many individuals at 140 or at 147 are existing on Bud's level or on Floyd's level? Are you fucking crazy? No, there is nobody on Floyd's level that is at 147 right now. But at the end of the day, how many of those carbon copy dudes? Oh my God, are you gonna let me talk, or are you gonna sit there and rant, keep revving up your dirt bike, bro?
Floyd or Triple G's level, you don't mention those fights because Bud Crawford has never been at that level. He's never fought at that level. He's never seen how he would perform at that level because he's never fought there.
You can sit up there and say all of that corny Rudy Poo shit all you fucking want, but I can't fall into your trick bag because you already know that is a freaking inevitable question that you cannot answer because you want to know why there is nobody at 147 at that time or now. There was nobody at 140 that is on Floyd's level or Triple G's level. Man, listen to me, man. Listen to me, man.
Hold no fighter's hands, bro.
Man, nigga, I'm not trying to hold nobody's hand and all that little flip-flop shit you doing. Look, you might think you putting on a show with them niggas, but you can't play that shit with me, dog. You can do that with them other dudes, but you can't do that with me, dog.
Bro,
oh, I can speak now? I can talk? I can talk?
It's my turn.
I can talk?
It's my turn.
Or you just gonna keep talking and talking and talking and talking? Because I clearly told you that isn't a yes or no answer, because I would have to say something different outside of what you're saying. You know I would have to answer. Listen, Nuke, you know I would have to answer that question in the way that you presented it with a defining no. You know that I would have to answer that question with a definitive no, dummy. Come on, Nuke. You know I would have to answer that question with a definitive no. What are you saying right now? You would have to.
That's a body bag. It's over.
It's not a body bag, you fucking retard. It's not a body bag, you retard. If you come up off of that jigger juice right now and listen for half a second, if you come up off of that jigger juice and listen for half a second, you can't answer that question with any. I would only have to answer that question with a no. You want to know why? That is an entrapped question, because there was nobody on Floyd's level or Triple G's level at 140 or 147 at the time. Them boys were cream of the crop. Those guys. And when Floyd, hold up. Can I finish real quick? It's gonna take me 30. I promise, Nuke. You can go crazy talking about swinging your hips on refrigerator doors and all that. Just give me 30 seconds. Just give me 30 seconds, bro. And you can talk about niggas being sweet, swinging their refrigerators, swinging their hips on refrigerator doors, and talk about hot dumpster juice and all of that good shit.
You got it. You just talked for 30 damn seconds. You got it.
Because I'm dealing with another rah-rah nigga that's trying to rah-rah with me. We got the same energy. You know this shit is going to play like a game of freaking Pong. Come on, my guy. Let's be serious here. You know we both were the same type of dude on this shit. Everybody in the chat is getting what they want, but you already know how it's gonna go with me and you. We got the same type of energy. That's why we run a show together. But all I was trying to say to you, brother, is listen to me. There's only one definitive way that I can answer that question, and you know that's what a no. That's why I say that's entrapment, bro. Because at the end of the day, there was nobody on that level other than Manny Pacquiao. How many times did Terence Crawford try to make that fight? He couldn't get it. Old head wouldn't let him get the fight as long as he promised him. And at 147, we already know the politics have completely clipped Bud's wings. Now, we're not going to sit up here and try to diminish Bud, because you know there are other variables that make Bud look a certain way. If y'all want to see Bud a certain way, we can't ignore the fact that the PBC wasn't willing to let their dudes play ball. Now they are now, so we getting to see the Sean Porter fight. And that ain't even a real fight for Bud to me, but that's what everybody want to see, even though you're going to get knocked out in 5 rounds. So all I was trying to say to you, my bro, is that you know I would have to answer that question in a definitive no, because Floyd is the top of the tops. At that time, Triple G was the biggest boogeyman moving, and the only thing people wanted to see from him was Canelo Alvarez. All I'm saying is Manny Pacquiao was the only thing available that you could even mention on that type of level. Bud tried to do that. Manny loses his belt. Bud goes up there and takes it at 147. When it came to 147, Nuke, you and I both know we talking about it behind the scenes, on the scenes, and everybody in the chat, no matter how pro Nuke you are, no matter how pro two hands you are, y'all already know politics play a major part in how these guys move, because there are several other fighters that have to exist in the exact same circumstances. That's why I say I couldn't answer that question. I could only give that question a no, but it's bigger than that, bro.
Now let me say this, Luke. When it comes to Bud Crawford, he's not about to get them fights, because on the simple fact of he's not even forcing Bob Arum's hand to even get him the fights with the PBC boys. People keep saying that, he could have got the fight with the PBC fighters, this, that, and the third. Man, Bob Arum lowballing them dudes. They not finna go over there and fight you for no fucking peanuts when on their side, Al Heyman getting them paid way more than what the fuck Bob trying to pay them, bro. And Crawford wasn't putting his best foot forward to get them fights. You put $1 million clause on a fucking fight to fight Errol Spence if Bob don't make it happen, but you don't put $1 million clause on the Manny Pacquiao fight, and he right there on the same side as you. And I agree, you should have had the Manny Pacquiao fight over Errol Spence over any motherfucker. But Bob wasn't even willing to pay Manny Pacquiao. That's why he's trying to get the investors to put the money up. So You gotta blame Terence Crawford as well for not getting them PBC fights.
Hold on, Money Brown.
Exactly.
But did Manny Pacquiao not ask for $40 million to fight Bud Crawford, but he took $8 million to fight Errol Spence?
He was asking for 20.
Hold on. Did he not? Did Manny Pacquiao not come out in the news recently before he fought Eugenius Ugas and had to fight with Errol? Did he not ask for $40 million of Bud, but he took $8 million from Errol Spence?
He was asking for 20.
He asked for 40. It's in the article.
No, the 40 came when Bob earned when he got the money from the investors and he came back talking about
bro.
million, bro.
Bro, at the end of the day, is that not a significantly higher purse coming from them and you're accepting $8 million from the PBC? Now, Sean Porter talked about, we talk about how Bud deflected from Sean Porter, but did not Sean Porter, highest payday was $2.5 million against Errol Spence, but how much money is he asking to Bud? Hey, I'm just saying.
Let me jump in real quick. Now, since we're talking about politics, you can't talk about politics without talking about what's happening with Canelo. Every 5 minutes you heard, Billy Joe Saunders in the fight, asking for a crazy amount of money, rejects the offer. Callum Smith asks for a crazy amount of money, rejects the offer. All these guys take an offer, then they're rejecting. No, I don't want that much. I want more than that. Canelo Alvarez is literally fighting. Everybody's fighting, getting a career high payday. Callum Smith turned down the fight before he even took it. Billy Joe Saunders turned down the fight. Kovalev, Danny Jacobs, Triple G, everybody that he gets in there with, they want more and more money. It's about money with that. So you can't complain and cry about Terence Crawford. They didn't get him the fights that he wanted and this and that.
Look, you full of shit. Don't try to make me sound like some whore. Don't try to make me sound like some whore. You know I don't talk like that.
Did I let you talk? Can you give me 30 seconds? Can you give me 30 seconds? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All I'm saying is, if this man is giving everybody career high paydays, everybody and their mama, and yet people turning down fights left and right, then they say, it's Canelo's fault that this happened. It's Canelo's fault that this happened. So you saying it's never Bud's fault? I'm the one who said Errol Spence ducked Crawford initially. You know when my mind changed? When Terence Crawford started talking about, I need 60-40 in my favor or the fight won't happen. That's a statement that happened that you never addressed. So we got to be honest about it. I'm not going to play one.
What now? What? What? I was asking you to repeat what you just said because I didn't hear you because you broke up, fully.
So look, Terence Crawford said that the fight won't happen if it's not 60-40 my way. 60-40, he can't sell a damn wing dinner, but he needs 60-40 his way. Make that make sense.
I'm about to make it make sense because you just killed yourself. Career suicide. You just killed yourself, career suicide, because you want to sit up there and talk about that, but you want to ignore the fact that Errol Spence was the one talking about the higher percentages first. That came off of the back that when they were arguing about A-side shit, and then when the 60-40 came up, then he jumped out there talking some 70-30 shit. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And listen, at that time, what were Errol Spence's accomplishments? At that time, what were Errol Spence's accomplishments? What were Errol Spence's accomplishments at that time? How many belts did he hold? And what was he doing? You're talking about Terence Crawford couldn't move a wing dinner, but with Mikey Garcia, he didn't even do no more than 300,000 buys. Are you dumb?
A-side or B-side is about what you can sell.
But what?
So what can Errol sell? Please tell me. What has Errol sold? Tell me, please. I will wait.
Let money speak. Let money speak.
I'm being jumped, and I love every second of it because I'm too much of a dog for this shit.
Man, we're not worried about no dog and none of that shit. Cut it out. When it comes down to it,
I'm big dog. I love being jumped. I smoke 2 niggas all day.
You say when it comes down to Earl, what is he selling? Right, Earl selling 300.
Listen to your voice cracking, Nuke.
That's what y'all do, bro. Y'all sit up here. Everybody not gonna do Canelo numbers, this numbers.
You think that means something?
Right.
Your voice cracking, Nuki.
Look, when we look at the situation, bro, Terence Crawford, and you look at the pay-per-view numbers, his shit against Victor Posa was what, and his shit against Amir Khan was what. So when we look at the situation, you can say, Earl Spence only selling 300. He's still selling more than Terence Bud Crawford, bro. At the end of the day, and he went on 3 pay-per-views back to back to back. When Bob Randy
Money. I hate to do this to you, sir. But while you're talking about Errol Spence selling 300,000, did he sell 300,000 because of Errol Spence, or did he sell 300,000 because of Mikey Garcia and the fight was in Texas, and it was basically because of the Latino demographic? I'll wait. I'll wait. Was it because of the Latino crowd? Was it because the fight was in Texas? And are we going to ignore the fact that Jerry Jones had to comp over 9,000 seats? I'll wait.
You're talking about Luke cutting you off. Now you want to cut off. Now, when we look at the situation, he still did the same 300 with Sean Porter, and he did 300 with Danny Garcia. So yes, it's because of Errol Spence. Now, when we look at Terence Crawford, when did he ever do 300? So at the end of the day, you talking about this, that, and the third, he don't deserve no fucking 50-50 at the end of the day. And
first of all,
they're not even seeing the fucking offer. So if you
first of all, when you talk this shit, you can't just say half of it. You can't just juggle a quarter, because this is a whole.
I never say half. But if you
definitely are, because there are a lot of things that you got to add into that. You can't just sit up there and say, "Oh, he sold 300,000." No, Mikey Garcia sold 300,000. He barely did 275 with Sean Porter.
What offer did Bud send Errol Spence?
Bro, what? See now, I'm not. Hold on. Are we juggling? Or are we going to stay on topic? At the end of the day, there was no offer ever sent because it could never get off of the ground. Errol Spence was shooting the fight down. Before even to mention the percentages and stuff like that. Already claiming big dog before he even had 2 titles. What I'm simply stating is this. While you're talking about stardom, and when you're talking about the place that Errol Spence is in and what he deserves, you can't deny the fact that he's an undisputed champion at 140. He had a WBO title at the time at 147, and all Errol Spence had was the IBF. Errol Spence only did roughly 300,000 buys, and that even might be inflated because, like I said, Jerry Jones comped 9,000 seats because he was highly invested in that show because it took place in Dallas. Another thing we do know, the Latino crowd comes out and support their own, and Mikey Garcia was the A side, not Errol Spence. There were more Latino fans out there than Errol Spence fans, regardless of whether it was in Texas. Mikey Garcia sold that fight. It was not because of Errol Spence.
Man, cut it out.
Hold on, what you mean cut it out? These are facts. These are facts. Man, you take your feelings out of it.
Look, you keep talking about feelings. You the one doing all the crying and the yelling.
I ain't never been a crybaby. But we know what you do, though. We know what you do, doo-doo. We know what you do, doo-doo.
Just like Mikey Garcia, look at you. Now you're throwing insults. That's how you know.
I'm not throwing insults. You calling me a crybaby? Is that not an insult? Shut the fuck up.
You shut the fuck up. Now watch this. When we looking at
look, man.
Look at Bud Crawford. You still can't say is Bud Crawford going to send an offer to Errol Spence? Yes or no?
Did Errol Spence ever send an offer to Bud Crawford? Did Errol Spence send an offer to Bud Crawford while you talking that dumbness? Shut up. You need to shut up because you kill a conversation before it even starts. At the end of the day, you can't sit up here and act like Errol Spence deserves more than what he should. You can't sit up there and act like Errol Spence can come out there and talk 60-40 talk, 70-30 talk. He even said he would even go as far as 80-20 based off of winning a belt with Sean Porter and fighting Ugas. And I find it funny. Hold on. Here's another thing as well. Here's another thing as well, man. I find it funny that people are bringing up these things, but when Terence Crawford had the WBO, Errol Spence was talking all of this jazz, and he didn't even want to fight him for real. But at the same time, when Jordanius Ugas got elevated to a champion, I do believe that Errol Spence's Twitter, he tweeted and he said, "Finally, you got something. All you had to do was get something I want. Now we can have a fight." Did Bud Crawford not have something? Did Bud Crawford not have something Errol Spence wanted?
Which fight is easier to get made? Because last time I checked, Errol Spence
see, look, there you go. But see, did you not just try to press me about did he send the offer? But is that not a fact or is that fiction?
No, because
see, don't try to move the goalposts and try to expect me to answer something you want to answer, but all you want to do is put your flip-flops on and your foot thong and try to juggle back and forth. Man, cut the crap. At the end of the day, you're not going to sit up here and try to inflate the ego of Errol Spence and act like he's bigger than what he is, because he's not. He's not the star you think he he is because he's not. He doesn't move the needle and sell like you think he does because he's not.
The goalpost.
Fuck out of here.
We're just gonna.
Yeah, so now you send yours up for looking silly.
Final thought. Everybody get your final thought and we'll wrap it up.
All right, no,
At the end of the day,
money. Whoever want to go first, get your final thought and we'll wrap it up.
I'll just go ahead and go first. At the end of the day, once again, opinions are like assholes. You know what I'm saying? I might not want to smell your farts. Y'all might not want to smell mine. Appreciate you, Nuke, for having me on. You know what I'm saying? Monty Brown, salute to you as well. You know, things happen to get a little chippy in the cage. Things tend to get a little chippy in the cage. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, shit gets chipped. Teeth, abrasions happen. You get nicked up. Sometimes you get a busted eardrum like Wilder. These things happen. But at the end of the day, in the ring, sparring must go on. And, you know, I got respect for both of these individuals. It's never anything personal. We all feel strongly about our views. And at the end of the day, from H's perspective, nobody is wrong here. We can all argue from points on articles. We can all argue points from press conferences and interviews. And, you know, everybody is standing on what they standing on. And as men, I respect them. And hopefully, you know, that is reciprocated. So respect to you, Nuke, for having me on. Respect to you, Monty Brown, for your point of view and stuff like that. You know, we can throw little jabs, but as long as we don't go all the way disrespectful, it's all love. And at the end of the day, it's all love. So it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind.
No doubt. Nuke, I appreciate you, man. The people been wanting some man, you know. But at the end of the day, man, Canelo is number one, pound for pound. To everybody out there, Kesty starts getting credit where credit is due, right? Stop looking at everything and taking credit away from these fighters. Because I'm gonna tell y'all like this: it's fighters out there that'll never in their life be a fucking world champion, right? And yes, it might be some fighters out there that got more skills than the fighters that are world champion. But to become world champion, you still got to get credit to those dudes for becoming world champion. ESJ, Terence Crawford will happen, right? I got it as a 50-50 fight, but I'm riding with ESJ. That's my brother. It's going to be a hell of a fight.
I agree.
But like you say, no, Terence Crawford and his resume, when people look at Canelo resume and they try to shit on that shit, just know, man, there's no comparison. Canelo has fought way bigger oppositions than Terence Crawford. And I give Bud credit for everything that he's done because I'm an eye test dude. I go off the skill set. But when Kes start talking about the resumes, then go down the entire resumes and get credit where credit is due. And don't forget to look at Canelo's age when he fought those dudes. So the dude been on top since he was 18 fucking years of age, bro. So at the end of the day, man, that's just how I get down, Nuke. You feel me? That's just how I get down, bro.
Oscar De La Hoya was a unified champion at 21. Y'all think that these dudes are getting off the porch late. They actually getting off the porch late.
I give credit where credit is due.
All right,
you feel me? But Nuke, much love, much appreciated, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Appreciate the channel, bro. Anytime you want to jump on Monty Brown TV panel, you're welcome at any time, bro.
I appreciate that, Bunny. I appreciate that too. Look, I'm gonna be honest with everybody. These two brothers, both of them keep it real, both of them honest. I respect both of them all 100%. If you haven't subscribed to Monty Brown TV, go subscribe right now. If you haven't subscribed to Mr. Two Hands Up, the Reaper Gang in the building, go subscribe right now. We might argue, it might get heated, we might disagree, but they gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. We don't agree on everything. That's boxing, and sometimes it get heated, but it's never personal. We're always arguing from a point of facts. That's what men do. That separates from, you know, men from boys. I mean, look at Southpaw TV. The dude didn't have his nuts to step on the panel with any one of us. With not one of us. He couldn't find his nuts. They're on a milk carton somewhere. But it is what it is, man. Go subscribe to these channels. Guys, we got to do this again. We're going to have to bring that eviction notice back with fire with Monty Brown. Two Hands Up to IBFP. Let's do it. Two Hands, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing real quick about these, you know what I'm saying, about just this whole YTBC thing. Look, man, people have got to stop looking at everything like, yo, Monty Brown is against Two Hands or IBFP is against, you know, Two Hands or whatever. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, bro. And y'all, and at the same time, y'all are fans of what we do. So at the end of the day, I understand it all. But just know that this is barbershop type shit. And it's never personal. So everybody's entitled to their opinions or whatever. And once again, it's going to get chippy, but it's always love, though. And as we always say at the end of this shit, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. Respect to my brother Nuke once again. Respect to IBFP and for the whole chat and all of those IBFP warriors out there. It's a whole lot of y'all subscribers. Y'all smothering the shit out of me. Yo, y'all was putting foot in my ass in the comment section, but I love every bit of it. My armor is built like dragon skin. Man, respect. And shout out to that eviction notice. We will be back.
Me and Two Heads playing a major comeback. Go subscribe. Money Brown be talking that real shit. Go subscribe as well. Two Hands, we waiting on the next drop. Let's get it, fellas. I'll see you guys next time. Salute.